This is 17 to 1, and today we are watching Requiem for Methuselah. I'm Van Velding, and I have seen this episode 17 times.
I'm Derek, and I've seen this episode one time.
You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, engage. Yeah, so this is another episode where everybody's dying all the time in space.
Yeah. A raging epidemic. So I don't know exactly if... Oh, I guess the epidemic is beyond Starfleet. Because 3 crewmen dying, it doesn't seem to be like an epidemic to me.
I think it is all on the Enterprise. It's a case where the Enterprise needs the medicine.
Yeah, I kind of
wait. I don't know.
I kind of like the premise of the idea. It's like, hey, listen, we need a thing. We need to get some base materials. Ooh, a planet has this base materials. Let's go do that instead of going somewhere that actually has the medicine because it's too far away. You know, you're in the frontier, the final frontier.
Oh, there we are. That's our ticking clock. In 4 hours, it will become irreversible. It's going to be an irreversible epidemic.
Right.
We can't reverse it. You're just going to be epidemicked.
Yeah, everyone's going to be epidemic. So I'm not a fan of this episode at all. This is a bad episode. It's just for all the reasons that as they come up, I will point out. Obviously,
this is I believe this is part of Nomad. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I couldn't find definitive information on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is clearly the worst of the 3rd season.
Oh, okay.
It shoots at them. They move slightly to the left. Not the worst.
They'll never think of us being stationary in a different spot. It's like, no, this robot's just straight up bad at shooting. Like, don't worry about it. His bearing algorithms or his what do you call that? Not trajectory. What is it? There's a something
targeting
algorithm.
locks.
Huh?
Targeting locks is
no, like when you're firing artillery, isn't there like an algorithm, a shooting solution? I think.
Yeah, like a firing solution. I guess.
Firing solution. That's it. His firing solutions are off.
Yeah.
That
robot's certainly no Napoleon, unlike Mr. Flint here, who probably was.
Who's all the things. He's everything you could ever think of.
He's not Jesus.
You don't know that. He says 100 other names. He could have been Jesus. He was born before Christ, baby.
in the first pass of the script, they're like, "You were men like Moses and Jesus," and they're like, "Don't even go there, guys. I know you're like
he knew Moses,
like,
so there you go. Maybe he was like, oh, cool, I could do this whole Jesus thing in a few hundred years after Moses is done.
Write the sequel to my own life story."
It's like, entirety of humanity is based on this one guy's life. Like, oh wow, yes, well, he must be super important then.
Flint's like, all right, I'm going to come over the hill and say, "I am Moses too, behold me, the Son of God." Got it. And then he walks up and there's sheep dung. And he's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm Jesus Christ. I'm that guy. That's who I am.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ is actually like a pejorative in some long forgotten language of just he steps in the sheep dung and Jesus Christ, and
because they had a word for that
for a second
with the sheep everywhere,
and that's how we get a religion that is still plaguing Starfleet today.
Oh, plaguing!
Yes.
They got enough plagues. That's insensitive, Derek.
Well, in
this episode.
Well, I thought it was relevant. McCoy says the Rigelian fever is like the bubonic plague.
So it's bad, like the bubonic plague. I mean, you don't want it.
Yeah, I think is that the biological version of it. It's like Hitler. We gotta stop it. It's like Hitler.
It might be actually. So it does come up quite a bit.
So I like how. So this is this is kind of a prelude of coming attractions. Like, they're not breaking eye contact, and it's like, oh, and by the way, I'm setting my own dead man switch. So if you kill us, you'll die too. Ha ha ha. And it's just like, wow, cool. So you just went from 0 to killing everybody just in a heartbeat.
Yeah, these little bits work okay. Kirk versus Flint. Because Kirk is an amazing...
Well, I mean, the thing that I don't get is, Flint has no motivation for not letting them do this. Like, he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm just here. Peace out. And like, even if they show up and say, hey, listen, we heard someone was inhabited here. Can you do X, Y, and Z? He's like, yeah, sure. And just off they go. Like, he doesn't have to let them know that he's thousands of years old. He doesn't let them know about where he lives. It's just weird to me that he's like, oh, other people. Well, you all gotta die.
Well, do you not launch into soliloquies about your long background with
well, he obviously was also
have trigger warnings.
He was also Shakespeare. So, I mean, you would expect the bard to have a few soliloquies in his pocket when talking to him.
And just, you only imagine Kirk saying, trigger warning, it's like the bubonic plague.
And he's like, ooh, the rats.
Like,
the rats.
I get that, yeah.
And then Spock's like, oh, so you're a student of history. And then, like, under his breath, albeit a melodramatic one. Crazy. Am I right, guys? Am I right?
Yeah, no, that's completely accurate. The dude is rocking those tights, though.
Yeah, that's
true. It's a nice matte painting.
Yeah, I like how maybe that's a statement of his. He's like, well, all of the human history that I've endured, tights and a tunic are the most preferable of fashions.
I mean, no pants is better. He's probably just got the tights for when people show up.
Yeah. Maybe he actually didn't have tights on, and then he heard the shooting. And he just put them back on real quick.
Yeah, he's like, robot, go ahead and greet them. And he grabs his tights, like, there's a fucking running.
Walking around his house just in his underwear.
Well, he's just in the tunic. He's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
only his robot daughter is the only one who's there. It's not gonna be a big deal.
It's the freest of free bowling. I mean,
the freest of free bowling.
Just
the freest of
the full dangle. He's he's comfortable. It's his house.
That's kind of a nice TV. Flat screen. Looks like it's at least 30 inches. So
I mean, the aspect ratio is not great. You'd have the bars on it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Unless you're watching an episode of Star Trek, which she is, so it's convenient. It works out. So yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we get this foreshadowing here. Like, Spock, interestingly, is interested in art. But you would expect art to be kind of like an emotional enterprise. Like, there's no logical appreciation of art. I mean, you can appreciate the craftsmanship of a thing, and that seems kind of be the purview of logic, air quotes. But he... it is kind of weird for me that he digs art for a self-proclaimed non-emotional being.
Yeah. They wanted him to be Picasso, but they're like, hey, Picasso's still alive, we can't say that.
Oh, really? Ooh, my bad.
And we have pictures of Picasso, he looks nothing like
What about Dali? Nope, Dali's still alive too. Damn it.
So, some of the people working on this are like, yeah, well, let's just get some prints. Why are you painting pictures? Like, because they're lost masterpieces? Yeah, but it's Beethoven. He's got a lot of paintings. Just put one up. Well, then they're not lost, are they? We have to make Leonardo da Vinci paintings for this.
Yeah,
this will look okay.
He's like, oh wow, yeah, I didn't think about that. He's like, yeah, no, you totally didn't think about that.
They had to write the new Brahms piece, whatever. Some sort of music nerd thing about that.
I wonder if that was kind of like an ego thing.
Yeah.
Like it was like I'm a musician. I get to write something that people are going to talk about as a Brahms piece, but not a Brahms piece. Mm-hmm. Like that's got to be something like an ego trip, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in television, you fake stuff all the time. You just get to imitate the greats. I mean, if you're a painter, Raphael,
look how childishly excited he is about this alcohol.
He's a man of simple tastes.
100-year-old brandy. Excellent.
And
then Spock totally trips him up. He's like, yeah, no, sure, pour me one. What?
So much character development, man. So much things happening from the beginning of this series.
I do like that too. And he's just like, do you think we can handle a drunk Vulcan? Like, real talk, Jim. Look at me in the eyes. Can we handle this dude?
That's good.
Yeah, this, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I kind of wish some of these scenes were were in like different episodes. I don't. He's talking about envy. He's talking about appreciating art. I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't strike me as a Spock thing, but he does play the lute, so who knows? Maybe that's a human part of him.
Yeah, I mean, Vulcans do have culture. You can't not have culture, otherwise you're just a bunch of bleep blorp robots.
Well, and what's wrong with bleep blorp robots? Racist. But no, like I mean, I get that. I get culture. It's more the characterization of him being emotionless. You know, if you're going to say you're emotionless and like these artistic pursuits, it feels like it's a hard sell.
Yeah.
But even emotion is kind of a hard sell. Like saying you're emotionless, and it's like, okay, well, why did you reach for Jim Kirk when he was in danger if you had no emotion otherwise? Your duty is not that strong that you're going to jump in his way, is it?
Yeah. I mean, you know, does art convey emotion, or does it convey a message? Does art convey information? Does it convey an experience?
Well, I think that you know, with art, you're conveying an experience. And maybe this is just me. He's like, hey, here's your baggie of drugs. Now get out.
I was about to say, one day...
Just drops on the thing. All right, now leave.
One day aliens will be drug dealers. And then the drugs just slide 2 feet across the table. But whatever.
Yeah, for no reason.
It's a pedantic remark. But I do think that art can be intellectual. It's a summation of memes that are transmitted to people in different mediums.
I don't think that I don't think you can appreciate art without emotion. I don't think that's possible. I think you can appreciate a craft, the crafting of art, without emotion. I think that's totally possible. I just don't think that you can appreciate art without emotion.
And with the appearance of the main catalyst of what can possibly be called a plot, I think it's time for us to move on from this conversation.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is where everything starts just coming off the reins.
I say swing, but William Shatner actually, they did have to stop producing because William Shatner did get swing during the dancing scene.
He had a boner. Oh, that's funny.
Hilarious.
Like seems like they would just kind of hang out for a while and just get all that out of their system. Like not like have sex or anything, but just. If you gotta do enough things with a woman, eventually you just don't have a boner, right? They're just a person that you chill out with.
I mean, I don't know if William Shatner really chills out with anyone.
So you mean like it's either sex or you don't hang out with Shatner? Is that what it is?
I just meant like in terms of making Star Trek episodes because so much is happening.
Oh yeah. That's
like the production is just so messed up. These guys, these two guest stars, are both theater people, as I understand it. So they're like...
Oh, like Broadway theater people?
It's theater. I mean, Los Angeles theater.
Oh,
so,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's not Broadway. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine, Los Angeles theater people. Do the work you gotta do before you're on Star Trek.
I like this. This is so funny. Like, I occupy all pursuits because anything less would be a betrayal of intellect. Like, whoa. So you're telling me that unless you're trying to learn every single thing you can possibly find, you're betraying intellect? Like, by what? Like, that's a very bold statement.
Yeah.
And also a one.
He's just a terrible, terrible parent.
It sounds like a very robot saying. It's like a very robot saying.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not desiring all of the input, then you just suck.
And here we come to this episode's very important message about homeschooling and how you can get way more degrees that way. Also, magic eye paintings on the right there.
Oh yeah.
It's a whale.
It's a schooner. And so.
Oh yes, work from one of the 20th century's greatest artists, Magic Eye. Mr. Eye was prolific in his day, mostly in the 90s.
Only a rare few could master the technique to fully appreciate his work. You see, you have to cross one's eyes, but only just so.
So I love these bottles, which are...
Yeah. It's like, oh, cool. A snow cone. Where's the snow cone machine? Like, isn't this snow cone sharp? I could just pour it on some crushed ice.
He actually has these in his office. I'm surprised this isn't a redress of his office. So,
Oh, okay, interesting.
yeah.
What's with the shaky cam? Like the shaky cam for the billiards? This is kind of weird.
It's high up. So she nailed that. She nailed that. That was her.
Oh, that like
not a double.
Oh, that's all
that
her.
Was her
That's
shot.
nice. That's
yeah.
nice.
Although there are no holes in this pool table, so I don't know how that works. Is it just hit the 2 red balls on the pool table? Is that the name of the game?
I don't like. There are other games that when you say billiards and like one of them is like an all red ball and a white ball thing, but it's played on a different table. It's usually like an octagon table, and I don't know what it's called. I think it's I can't remember. But anyway,
Jawbreaker bump.
This is pretty much a mixture of 2 things, I believe. So it's all shit.
It's cool Windows 95.
Like, I don't understand why they would just make a pool table. Like, I don't know how you could get a pool table unless I guess you made it without holes. Like that's
that might be the thing. Yeah.
Because all of the other billiards games that I know of, they have special tables that you play on. Like, they're not pool tables; they're other tables.
Like if there was a line, if there was like a
like some sort of like soccer thing. I do like this a little bit, like the whole girl showing a guy how to make the shot.
Yeah, I like that.
That's nice, and that's the only nice thing in the relationship between the male and the female of this episode.
And here we come upon this episode's theme of men's savagery versus civilization.
Yes. Although there is a very subtle, and I'll point it out when it happens, but I just would like to kind of call it. At some point in time, it's like, oh, he's made the perfect woman. Her only flaw is that she's not human. I'm like, oh, cool. So you're a xenophobe. you actually hate Spock and any other non-human. There's only one true race. Is that right, Kirk?
This is a robot, so she's just. It doesn't. If sex is a game that men can only win and women can only lose, then there's no point in making a woman who's just for you to put your penis in, because you've beaten nothing. You haven't overcome the will of another human being and. Like there isn't, and the robot designed to have sex has no desire to not have sex. So how can she lose?
I can't remember who said it, but it's like everything about reality. Everything in reality is about sex except sex. Sex is about power.
I believe that was Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde, yeah. Which is something that in
Don't
these
quote
kind
me
of
on that, but
yeah, that's fair. But these are the kinds of things you think about, right? You know, because especially if you look at any kind of mating rituals of animals, it definitely looks kind of like a more of a power thing than a love thing. But we've conflated this notion of love with sex, and maybe because we have a bigger brain that makes sense. But I don't know.
I was speaking of sex solely as an achievement to unlock on your leaderboard.
Oh, like from like the male kind of perspective, where it's just like, oh, women are nothing more than objects to put notches on your belt, kind of jazz.
In this metaphor, for women, having sex means that you reload from your last save.
I don't know if I get that, but all right, fair enough. I've officially sufficiently lost the metaphor.
It's William Shatner's boner face.
Yeah, we're also getting this weird shaky cam as well. Like I don't know if they're having trouble tracking. Maybe they're dancing too far away. Like they're dancing across the room and the camera can't keep up or something.
I don't know. I do not know.
Way to be a buzzkill. Hello, Dr. Buzzkill. What's going on?
Yeah. For an overhead shot, I can see it could be dangerous. You know, it's like, we're just gonna set it up and shoot it right quick. It turns out the camera's shaking too much. Oh well, keep it. But for this, I don't know. I mean, it's just.
The weird thing is that so he's like, oh cool. So your iridium has an impurity. Okay, it's 1 part per 1,000, which is significant. So can't you just use like the super M4 robot that did this shit like in half the time you could do it to just refine this further and refine the iridium out of it? Yeah. That's crazy talk.
But apparently not. Whatever the deal is with the iridium, you can't get it out. Like you accept that. This is
well, no, well,
yeah.
you don't accept it because Kirk doesn't accept it. Like in the end of this scene, he's like, "There's got to be a way to make it usable again." He immediately goes to the lab and then proceeds to not give a shit about making it useful, and like talking up this girl. Like this is the first time in this episode that I'm like, really, I got upset because the whole premise we hang this episode on is people are dying on the Enterprise and they're just like chilling out, drinking, brandy, looking at art, mystery. And it's just frustrating.
Yeah, looking at old man Flint's freaking abandoned amusement park.
Yeah, and it's just I don't get that he cares. Like, this is kind of the episode where when you say like, oh, Kirk cares about human life, Kirk cares about his Enterprise. It's like, well, show it to me. Show me in this episode where he cares, because I don't see it.
Like they establish the tension in text and then fail to create that tension in the actions which follow.
Right, like there's not even like an update. There's not even an update from the Enterprise about like, oh yeah, 2 more people died. We really need that serum, like to keep the tension up. Like they double down on this weird romantic, narrative, only to have a real like, oh no, she's a robot. Let's fight for her. Like, who cares? Like, this is just such a episode. And like she just randomly walks in here and stares at a wall. That's where I go to think.
It's where it's her home. It's her home.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, when you have a problem, you go to a place, but usually it's a relaxing place. Like, she's basically 2 feet from a wall. She's just like, oh, this is where I go when I'm troubled. Like, really?
Yeah, because she is a robot, so it's entirely possible that she's programmed to go there when something's wrong.
Right, and that's fine. But humans don't do that. That's a weird human thing to do. And
here we stumble upon this episode's theme, which is about loneliness and how companionship is necessary for humans to be fulfilled.
Yeah, even though we only mentioned it sometimes. And that's completely over. Like, they blow right past that narrative when he talks about, I'm trying to unlock her emotions, dude. That's the last thing I needed from a perfect robot.
I know, right? It's like, what?
Like, I don't give a shit about your entire civilization. I just need my robot to have emotions, and then bam! Perfect companion.
So in this episode, Captain Kirk meets Leonardo da Vinci. And Leonardo da Vinci is what we call Lex Luthering. From the time that Lex Luthor took a robot from space, made it look like Lois, and then you're like, oh, that makes sense. Lois challenges him, so he wants a robot who kind of challenges and keeps him on his toes. And then he wakes up in the middle of a comic and the robot's in bed with him and you realize he's having sex with the robot. Yeah. So, Luthering.
Yes.
Stop Luthering Leonardo da Vinci.
Yes, please. And, like, I would have preferred, like, if you're going to have, like, a woman narrative and you want to kind of tackle loneliness, that would have been you could totally have done that without this, like, let's fight for her crap at the end. Or Kirk completely losing sight of his actual mission to save lives. But they don't. They're just like, no, let's straight up like Romeo and DiCapulet this shit.
I know. Well, except in this case, it's only the woman dies, which is weird. I mean, that you're somehow less progressive.
Well, no, the Romeo that like they have a fight in Romeo and Juliet, and like some of the no, it's not the
Montagues and Capulets. They fight, and then a guy dies. Yeah,
one of the guys died. Yeah, me. I'm bad with words. I don't remember words well.
I do wonder how different this episode would be with the exploded wreckage of Nomad. Exploded wreckage of Nomad.
See, here you go. I'm gonna flip this episode. You ready? Nomad's actually running the whole show. Both of them are robots. And he's trying to. He somehow deduced that humans are illogical, and the best way to reproduce, to control their logic, is to replace them with androids. And he's going to build their android armory as soon as he figures out how to make them copulate together.
They've done that twice before in Star Trek, but
why am I not surprised?
But no, I mean, Dr. Exploded Wreckage of Nomad would probably have figured out that the Ritalin was like impure, and then just let everyone die.
Yeah,
because it's a robot. Or maybe it wouldn't have affected infected everyone with Rigelian fever as a pretense to go to this planet, under orders from a secret cabal of Starfleet intelligence. Like McCoy did, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's, it's actually not Rigelian fever. It's a derivative that is completely controllable, but has all of the symptoms of Rigelian fever. And the 2 people that are dead are really just in like a coma.
It's 3 people.
Well,
but yeah, no, they're dead. They're dead.
They did.
Starfleet intelligence and or Section 31 and or the Reptilian Intelligence Service do not screw around about these things.
No. They're going to kill a guy. They're going to kill a guy. None of this whole theatric nonsense.
Yeah, no, you actually give him Rigelian fever.
Yeah. I like how it's like, oh, you thought you killed my priceless robot. Yeah, I just built another one. Or I have a whole bunch. Who knows?
Who knows? Who cares?
I could have a whole army full of them.
They come in a 3-pack. The only hitch is that they are shrink wrapped.
Yes.
And you got to get like the scissors.
It takes at least 3 hours to just unshrink wrap them.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And it's not the bulk of the shrink wrap. It's just kind of like you have to get in with your fingernail and like pick off some of it because it's like glued stupidly. Like the whole thing is expertly crafted, but they just use this really cheap glue that you just can't rub off, and it's just frustrating.
And then it's an M4, so you think you're only going to need one. So then Spock shoots your M4, and you got to go through your junk drawer to find the other
like,
2.
Me, I got to unwrap another one. It's going to take forever.
Oh gosh, you have to set it up. I forgot about this.
Where's my manual? Where's the manual? I had notes. I took notes in my first manual so I could speed this up. Where did it go?
Username, God. Was it Da Vinci?
No.
Was it Charlemagne?
No, I had this weird nostalgia period when we opened this. What was it? Moses, that's it. Moses, super cool Moses 42.
Password, cool snakes will teach him.
Snakes will teach him, I love it. And so here we actually get some legit good advice. It's like, hey, and by the way, you're worried about her, but people are still dying, so maybe don't worry about her? It's like, no. He's like, yeah, he totally loves her. So we should just kind of do what we came here to do, you know? Like, don't leave with your dick for once. Oh, I can see it. Bay's upset.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Charlemagne was actually born in 747, give or take. So, like, how do they do passwords in 747? Would it be Charlemagne 47, or would it be Charlemagne 747?
I think I'd go with Charlemagne 747.
You'd go for all 3?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Yeah, all right. So, or you go with Charlemagne.
Okay, so we do get like one update.
Yeah.
But I guess it doesn't land with me. I forgot about this, which makes sense because it didn't land.
The supporting cast is still alive.
Skeleton crew, we're still in trouble. All right, peace out, guys.
And here we happen upon this episode's theme about the accumulation of wealth and how it buys disproportional power. Compound interest is the devil. Yeah.
It is kind of overlooked, but a good point. You know that wealth is like an insulating factor, and the more of it you have, the more you don't have to deal with the crap that essentially makes you human, because you have to deal with stuff from other people. And so fundamentally, the more grotesquely wealthy you become, the less, I would say, the more grotesquely wealthy you become, the more you're disconnected from your humanity, I would say.
I would agree with that. You guys could just stay on the planet, you know. The 3 of you. You could just stay on the planet.
Everything seems kind of legit here.
No,
they have like robot-made butler guardians.
Yeah. Kirk, Spock.
I mean,
the exploded wreckage of Dr. Nomad. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, you'll have to deal with like the creepy surveillance everywhere, but whatever. I do like how he calls it though. It's like, I think he's, all this stuff, so it's logical to assume we're being monitored as they're being monitored. Yeah. He's like, damn that Vulcan and his brilliant mind.
I like the futuristic technology here, though. The flat screen and the little controller that Al Calrissian has in Quantum Leap.
Good. And he actually has to walk over to turn it off. That's great. It's like, dude, that's not how you use a remote. You have it on your person.
He's a little older. He could probably just use a clapper.
Yeah. He probably has a few clappers. I bet. Like, I would love to see. I just want to see like everyone leaves. He's still on his planet, and like turns on the TV and like watching like infomercials. Like ooh, and, like,
it's great.
Orders.
It'd be great if he had like 5 clappers with like different tempos, and then there's just 5 minutes of Flint trying to get the right thing to clap on and off again.
No, no, no wait. Okay, it's 2 claps and 1 low clap. Okay, got it.
And like one of them's a disco ball. I would love to see that 5 minutes of that episode.
That would be better than what we're looking at.
Yeah,
for sure. It's this isn't sci-fi. This is just macho fighting for the girl bullshit, and it's just annoying. And like, even if they didn't have that, if they took all of that out, you still have the whole like, oh yes, well this quasi godlike person that is a human is in front of your objective, and that doesn't make any sense. Like, how is he quasi like instant tissue regeneration? Like, you can tie that into kind of a medical conflict, but they just don't. You could tie in like problems with the atmosphere dealing like to get your medicine, and they don't. They're just like, no, you know what would be great in this episode? 2 guys fighting over a girl, and she turns out she's a robot. Ah ha ha.
But they still fight over her, so even though she looks different, she's still a lady. I guess.
And what I think is weird is also he's supposed like they kind of have like this notion like early, like when you're kind of going around all of his opulence. They're essentially saying like, oh, he's such a better human, like because he's had so many years. Like they're kind of alluding to that he just is kind of evolved in some way. But then he just straight up gets in a fist fight over a robot he built. Like, what? Like, he's just a nerd. He's just a nerd. He's like, don't touch my things.
I can only imagine, like, 2 neckbeards fighting over a real doll of Rhea Perlman.
Yes. This is the Star Trek version of 2 neckbeards fighting over a real doll.
Like, with katanas and, like, fedoras. Like...
Yes. But, like, see, here's the thing. They fight with katanas, but they don't actually use them. They just hold them. It's like, well, I'm proficient in blah, 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 so I could beat you with this katana. Well, yeah, but I understand the defense style to that. And it's just a whole bunch of words, and no one ever lifts a finger.
It's
a mental battle of who can outsay the other.
So then, in order to get them to go away, Flint takes the right talent away.
Yeah, and so he says the next thing I knew it was gone. It's like, so let's walk back for a second. What's going on? You were just chilling, and then a thing happened that you don't know, and then everything was gone after that? Is that what you're telling me?
And Spock has an empty bottle of Saurian brandy. So next thing you knew. Next thing you knew.
Why is all it's weird. The Rytellan also went missing with all of this brandy.
Doctor, can you snort Rytalin? Maybe Spock, that doesn't matter.
Can you just blow? Can you just blow for me? I know I don't have like. I'm just gonna point my tricorder at your mouth and see where your blood alcohol level's at.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that doesn't matter. I'm from Georgia. Our blood alcohol is different than everyone else.
I think.
We're born with
ethanol blooded hobgoblin.
We're born with like an 08 blood alcohol content, so that's not going to work.
I
like this. He's got a secret door, right?
Yeah.
And so in every narrative you ever see, a secret door leads to a secret room, right? Yeah. Well, here we have a secret door that leads to a secret hall that leads to a secret door to a secret room. I'm like, okay, so like the whole scene that you do in front of the second secret door, you couldn't have done in front of the first secret door. Like, I don't understand why we do this. We run a little ways, we do it again, and then we just get into the room. Like, guys, like was there a time thing? Like, did you need to draw this out a little bit?
And with this conversation, we come to this episode's true theme, which is about having a point to your conversations.
Another door. By God, he's a genius.
The talkings of the conversation having a point.
Yeah. So this is another deal. So now we have the Rytilian, right? So
the
Rytilian, sorry. So do we know if that's the good Rytilian or the bad Rytilian? It's just Rytilian. Like, did they destroy it? Like,
it's good enough, Rytalin.
Yeah. So now we get, like, basically his library of real doll experiments.
which he keeps, I guess.
Yeah,
Or the backgrounds or the prototypes. Is he going to make a museum of Reynas?
There's a movie. I can't remember what it's called, but it's essentially about like AI and like the guy is opulently wealthy and he's making like artificial intelligence and to pass the Turing test, and it gets pretty like kind of cerebral horror pretty quickly. But there's kind of the scene where it kind of is disturbing because of like how he's treating these artificial beings that he's trying to create, like the proto phases. And I get that that's what this is. But because they're all dead, it just kind of seems weird. Like it's like, unless you're trying to like, oh, I can't destroy this one because it has some data I've yet to process or something, or
I know. Like, I keep old works around, but I don't keep them on tables under sheets. I put them in a goddamn pile on the floor.
Well, you don't have enough wealth. Apparently, if you had enough wealth, that's exactly what you would do. You would create a whole chamber for all of your old works.
With tubes.
With tubes. So yeah, there's like 16 Rihannas, but we only see 3. So I guess he destroys some of them. But the real question is, how long between iterations? Like, is 16 mean like 1600, 16, 1 point, like 16, no, not 16,000, right?
Random 1 is just made of wood.
2, 6, he's like 6,000.
Because she's from like the 4th century.
Yeah. I tried to go with an all-natural Rihanna, but I couldn't. I had a problem with the circuits in wood kind of working together. They just kept catching fire and overheating. So,
So, here's an important lesson about, I don't know, this episode's true theme of backing up your data electronically.
Yeah, I am Brahms and Da Vinci and a whole bunch of other names. It's like, oh, I'm so angsty, so old and angsty.
Who wants to live forever?
Highlander did a way better job, the series, mind you, did a way better job than this dude is doing.
The first movie's pretty clear about what it does. The 4th movie is a little clearer than this episode.
I'm not talking about movies, I'm talking about series. But yeah, that's true. That is
you can't deny the first movie.
Yeah.
The first movie has everything.
Yeah, well, it has a little bit. It's a little confusing about what the quickening is in the first movie, but they iron all that out later.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It works. I mean,
yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough. It's serviceable.
It's got everything but Christopher Lambert's penis, and we're all pretty happy that's how it played out.
Are we? Are we?
Yeah, we're pretty happy it's not in there. I mean, if you're curious.
Yeah, I am.
It's fine. Okay.
So, he's. Yeah, like, and so here they're like, oh man, but you're so smart. You're so smart and cool, dude. Like, why are you like just hanging out here? Like, why aren't you furthering the human race? Like, what's the deal? And it's like, oh, well, just, loneliness. Even though he doesn't say it, I just want to bone some robots, dude. Like, it's my jam.
He also wrote the original teleplay for Highlander, which would have been a funnier joke without the singing from earlier. But yes, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, think about it.
No. Yeah, for sure. It's like autobiography. It's like, oh, these humans don't understand what it means to live for thousands of years. Whoa, what I should do. Movie, screenplay, here we go. God lives forever. Sad about it. I love it.
And Spock pulls out his phaser. I assume you were also responsible for the sequels. No, I sold the rights.
No, I sold the rights. Sorry, don't touch me. It's like, I sold it and moved on. It's like, okay, puts his phaser away. Like, you hear a whirring sound, like, like, Spock, did you modify your phaser to go more than full power? Just for such occasions, Captain.
He just pushes Kirk out of the way and just karate chops Flint into annihilation. Just big Vulcan karate chops.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you see basically all of the bones just like crumple under his karate chops. And I guess they instantly regenerate. See, here's the thing the funny thing about regeneration. Like, you see this a lot. Like, we watched The Last Witch King, which is horrible. We watched, and then like you see it with Wolverine and Deadpool, and the assumption is always, like, actually, except with Deadpool, the assumption is just if some damage happens, it'll regrow in the exact form it was before. But why wouldn't it? Like, if you're gonna have things like if you break a bone and it's not properly set, it'll still grow in that weird configuration. So like if you just like crush this dude's ribcage and leave it the way it is, it's going to be just this gnarled mass of bone. Like it's not going to reshape itself.
Here we also learned that Flint was also Heinz Doofenshmirtz with his Insmolinator ray.
I don't get the Heinz Doofenshmirtz reference.
It's a Phineas and Ferb reference. The kids will love it.
I've seen a billion fall. You're like ants to me. It's like, actually, you know what? A few seasons ago, it doesn't matter what seasons are. We've run into like some god beings. You might want to talk to these guys. Like that, you guys could have some stuff in common. You know, like maybe get this whole I'm superior than I can do whatever I want thing out of the way. Like I don't have his name.
No, it'd be great if Kirk is like, look here, check my references. Here's Trelane. Here's Apollo. Yes. And then like they wait and it's like a 15-minute scene where Flint calls and it just rings. It just rings and rings and rings. It's like there will be long distance charges associated. It's like it's fine, whatever. I'm Flint, I'm rich. And like he gets Apollo's voicemail and Kirk is like, after Flint calls down the whole list, Kirk is like, yeah, I killed them all. They're dead.
Yeah, like he calls the whole list and then he calls Kirk and it's like, hey, I couldn't make in touch with any of them. It's like, oh yeah, right, I killed them.
So you still want to do this or what?
Yeah, so now what? Like,
now what?
You still want to talk about you being superior?
And now what?
Because you might have ultimate power, but I got riders behind my back, sucko.
Yeah, so it does bring us to this episode's theme, which is to always check references.
Yes. Fiat. Your secrets.
Yeah, I like that there is literally a safe in the background. Visual storytelling on par with Watchmen. When he says your secret's safe, and then there's a safe.
I think that's good.
Yeah,
are you saying that's not a good idea, or you think that is a good idea?
I'm just lampooning some of the excessive praise of Watchmen for saying a thing and then putting a thing in the picture. It's like, yeah, it's like the thing they just said, but it's in the picture now. Yay. Basic storytelling.
Yeah.
But it's obviously just random here, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So
it looks like the picture right below the safe is a picture of the back of a safe. Like it looks like a weird drawing of like just how a safe would look from the back or something. You know what I mean? Like
I guess it's like an Insmolinator. He has got the Insmolinator ray and the Insafe and Twistinator ray. Just twist the safe around. It's the back of the same safe.
Yeah, exactly. Like some kind of. So now he's all mad. Look,
here's Shatner acting. He's Shattering it up.
Yeah, Shatner.
And he lets it out, then he pulls it in, and then it goes back out again.
Yeah, like before he comes up, there's like a new director, and before the scene comes up, he's like, "All right, Shatner. So, this might be a little difficult, but what I need you to do is kind of just ramp up the emotion. Can you do that?"
And then like he tries to pull it back to like temper it, and it kind of sort of works, but then we get this useless fisticuffs.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, like you were millennia old. You gotta know how to throw a punch better than this. Like
I know, right? That's the worst punch ever.
He runs,
and then he runs away. He just hits him, and he sprints off into a corner, and sprints back in.
Yeah, like you've seen billions die. You should know that a punch to the head is gonna do nothing.
Was he also the Macho Man Randy Savage?
You're going nowhere. I got 2 minutes of playtime. Apollo is ready.
And I'm just amazed that Spock just doesn't neck pinch Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but no, seriously, how do we get the right talent? We don't care.
We don't have time. We don't have time for this fucking nerd fight over a robot.
So he's like, yeah, time out. He slowly puts his hand up to each of their faces, puts it on there, does the Vulcan mind thing. He's like, f*** off. And they both just off.
He's like, oh, well, there's an ancient Vulcan mediation technique that I can use. It essentially involves a double mind meld. Would you be? Yeah, sure, let's do it. Okay. Like it's a very solemn, a little bit of time of dead air, and he's like, "Shut up, nerds."
See, I would have gone with the Three Stooges approach. Whoop, 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 and just slaps them both across the face, grabs their noses, like bonks their heads together.
I mean, he might be double the strength of Kirk, but he's not double the strength of Spock. Spock's got to be the strongest one there, right?
Yeah. So anyway, almost what we're saying is that almost any resolution would have been preferable to this.
Yeah, it's like No, you have to observe her free will. Her free will chose me, so you have to observe her free will.
Here's
bet you $100 if it went the other way, he'd be arguing about a reason why he can't do the thing he said.
Yeah.
You can't stay here. You belong. You be free. No, I like the security. No, you have a right to be free.
Yeah.
Humanity needs freedom. I'm a robot. No, you just listen. Okay, I really just want to have sex with you. Okay, you can't do that here. I'm not going to do it here with all these creepy cameras.
Your dad watching.
Yeah, your dad watching. Your dad, creator, and boyfriend watching.
Dad, fiance.
Oh, you thought the South was only on Earth. Turns out it's on whatever this planet is as well.
No. Here's this episode's, final theme of maybe women could make choices about the dudes that they're going to be with. Like, maybe that's not such a big deal. Or maybe it will kill them. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Women, right? Am I right? Women?
Yeah. They're just like robots. Can't understand them.
Yeah, if you let them make choices, they'll explode. Maybe they should make choices. Or maybe men should fight over them? I don't know. Something about women.
Yeah, it's like, we should fight over them because that's going to resolve her choice easier.
So anyway, I'll be straight up honest with you. The Next Generation does this in 2 episodes.
Okay.
That are unrelated and much better than this.
Okay, interesting. So, well, we'll see. I mean,
you think they're going to be worse?
Well, it's possible. What I've been learned in this experiment together that we've been doing is that I should not have expectations. I should just never be. There are always new depths or heights that can be reached.
Yeah. And here's this episode's theme of maybe listening to the smart people who are in the room with you instead of fighting with your dicks.
Yeah.
Dicks.
It's like, so she's in the room with, I guess she doesn't know. Oh, no, she's like super smart. So she would have totally realized that it's her copies, right? Unless she just kind of denied that route, right? And then on top of that, she's got to choose and is experiencing emotions for the first time. And then she just pops. She just straight up pops.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I like how he has a letter opener for a ship that we have yet to see any shred of paper. Like, he has a letter opener in like a thing, and it's like, oh, cool. So for your letters that don't exist, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh man. So
it reminds me of the old way of opening information.
But at least there's recrimination here. At least we understand that Kirk was in the wrong in this episode.
Yeah, I just it's every time I see this kind of thing, I think about the Egyptian tear one where he's like, oh, like you're biologically you will crave me no matter what I say or do because of the biology of my tears. Like that is we have evidence. We have psychological evidence of just rats. Killing themselves because we rewire their brains to just when they push a button they get a hit of oxytocin and they've killed themselves overfeeding themselves. And so that's totally a thing. But how he can walk away from that and like violently love some other person, it just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Because there are romantic ideas at play here.
And here's the other thing that bothers the crap out of me. It's like, who I'm bothered more by you than him. Oh, how so? Please tell me, McCoy. It's like, well, you won't know about the joys and the miseries of love, but I wish you could forget. Like, wait, so how in the same breath can you say that the miseries of love I pity you for not having, but then I wish that he could forget them? Like, what the hell are you talking about, McCoy? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, this episode is basically, right, McCoy lists a set of things that love is, right? Ecstasies. Write these down. Miseries, desperate chances, right?
Yep.
Glorious failures, broken rules. And then Spock, without Jim's consent, goes into his brain to make Jim happier.
Yeah.
He breaks a lot of rules. Yeah. And he alleviates the pain.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good point. That could be some kind of weird foreshadowing.
But I just like his whole Spock loving Kirk enough to want to spare him that pain.
I meant like by McCoy. McCoy's
Oh.
kind of like outlining what Spock's doing right now.
Yeah.
But it's just frustrating to me that like his words don't even make sense. And then like I'm sure I could look, oh, what's love? It doesn't have to make sense. Like, no, yeah, it does have to make sense. Like we're still beings that are predicated on some sort of order.
Feeling things brings with it bad stuff, but the bad stuff is worth it. That's Star Trek. That's a Star Trek thing.
Yeah, so forget the bad stuff. That's what we're taught. If you have the power and means to forget it, you should totally do that.
Man. It's a character moment perhaps separate from the philosophy, but I can't really credibly argue that. So
Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, Kirk wants to forget, McCoy wants him to forget, and Spock helps him forget.
It just bothered
final
me,
thoughts.
McCoy. Yeah. So yeah, this is there are like that scene could have been better. There are a few scenes in here that are okay.
What? That was the best scene of the episode. The final one. It at least has a point to it.
Yes. And I like that scene sidelines me because of McCoy's inconsistencies in his little speech, and that just bothers me. Because him lauding the miseries and then wishing he'd forget them is just a contradiction that you can't build anything on top of it. That it's shaky ground to start. But like him, but Spock, like having his friend forget. I mean, that's something. But anyway, like the whole episode it's garbage and could have done a lot better. And it's just frustrating. But I'm glad it's over. That's my final thought. I'm glad it's over.
Next week is the Savage Curtain.
Is this where like Leonard Nimoy just like does the 300 and just like kicks some dude savagely? Okay, anyway, that was bad.
No, no, it's not that it wasn't funny. It's that you're just going to read the blurb and then forget you said those words.
So I see Leonard Nimoy giving the old Vulcan high five.
Yep.
Live long in prosperity, jazz.
Yep.
We read Kirk, Spock. Okay, let me see if I can get through this again. Kirk, Spock, Abraham Lincoln, and Sirach are pitted in a battle against 4 notorious villains from history. Alright, so can we skip this one?
Nope.
Alright. Well,
we should watch this one twice.
I think my inability to even get through this blurb is pretty telling as far as how I'm going to feel about this episode. I have absolutely zero hopes for this episode.
Alright, we will find out next week. So until then, remember Rand. Hey, I'll make this less than 60 seconds because no one likes credits. Star Trek is owned by CBS Television Studios and Paramount Pictures. We're watching this on Netflix streaming, talking over Skype, and recording our conversation with Alamoto Call Recorder. All editing is done with Audacity, the free audio editor and recorder, and our files are hosted on vanvelding.com. With DreamPress hosting, run with WordPress. 17 to 1 is available on iTunes and Stitcher. If you have any questions about the program, feel free to email 17to1@vanvelding.com or tweet @vanvelding. Thank you, and remember Rand.